What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with some brand new, very exciting stuff from Injora. I know it seems like here lately every video has started out like that, but Injora has just been on a roll, man. And I'm very excited about these inserts. This is something that I've really just been waiting a while for one of these bigger companies to kind of jump on, making these a little cheaper, maybe a little better. I don't know. These feel really good. I have a set of their 10 scale ones, and they feel pretty dang good. I haven't got much time in with those. Hopefully this weekend I'm going to be getting out with those. But look at this. Look how squishy that is. That's going to be insane. In a front tire, maybe. I'm thinking these in the rear, these are a little more firm. I don't know. We'll have to see. These may be too soft, like unbelievably squishy. They feel really neat. Like, it's just satisfying to like fiddle with. I don't know. But got those, and then we've got some of these 1.3 inch wheels just in the beautiful looking oil slick kind of with the gray in the center. We'll pop those out in a minute. And then probably the stickiest tires I've ever pulled out of a pack. These are already getting kind of dusty and they're still insanely sticky, but look at that, just unreal. They feel really, really good also. So the pins, I think these are going to grip well. So I'm really excited about these. I like the kind of small lugs, so we're not going to get any skipping, and they feel like they're going to grip really well. So these are a little bit slimy kind of feeling, so you get a hold of these, then you grab these tires. They may not feel as sticky, but when you're first pulling these out of here, like unreal. I'm telling you. And you can see the thing's stuck pretty well. So I'm going to get these mounted up, and then we're going to run it. One quick note I wanted to talk about here is the versatility of these, because these are meant for a 1.0 wheel. So this size in a ring, you can see that's what they fit best on. They're probably going to work best on that. But they will stretch over these 1.3s because they are flexible enough. So I'm running them inside here just fine. Now you can see it kind of is going to stiffen it up a little bit probably. But these are really, they're supposed to be 64 millimeter. I think they're for a 64 millimeter tire. These are 72 or whatever. So we've got a lot of flex in there anyways, but we're still going to have good sidewall, stability on these. In the rear, I am running just the soft, which I think is going to work really well. And then these super soft are insanely soft, guys. But I did like how these are able to fit over the 1.3, even the soft, it's a little bit more of a stretch here, but they fit over that plenty well. Whereas some of these, I just can't, you're not going to stretch that over this. So you're going to have different sets for different wheels and all of that. So I think these are going to be really good. I do like that they're also $12 for a set of 4. I mean, some of these inserts get very expensive for these trucks, and mounting up tons of wheels and tires and that sort of thing, it gets expensive. So I try to reuse a lot of these inserts when I switch from wheel to wheel or tire to tire or whatever. So the fact that these can go from different size wheels and stuff is really going to be nice. So my feelings on this particular setup here is a little mixed. I don't know that I would recommend stretching these 1.0 inserts onto these 1.3 wheels. They seem to pull pretty good in most cases, but I did get some bounce on one of the straight inclines where I felt like maybe it was because these were stretched and it was kind of messing with how they conformed a little bit. I do think I would just go with the super soft. Pretty much for me, I would always go with the super soft unless you have an insanely heavy rig and super soft tires, maybe, go with the soft. Even with the soft in the rear here, I felt like I probably would have been a little better off with the super softs in the rear. The cool thing about these is we definitely get that sidewall support, and you get a really nice soft squish out of your insert. And I didn't mention, since these are silicone, you get a little bit of added weight out of these. So the green soft weigh 14 grams, and the yellow super soft weigh about 13 grams. So your stock foam normally doesn't even register like a gram on my weight on my scale. So you're gaining some weight there. So it's almost like adding your weight with your insert, which is pretty cool. And they seemed to be really nice and squishy. I don't know if I would recommend putting them on these wheels like a 1.3, but they did work pretty well overall. I was getting a little bounce on one of the incline tests, and you'll see it in a little bit. But honestly, I kind of thought it was because these inserts were stretched, and it did affect the squishiness of them, I guess. So, but then I tested a couple different tires on this truck, and it really just kind of seems to be from this truck and the bands on the front shocks. When I removed those bands on the front shocks, it did a little better. And honestly, these tires actually did really well compared to the Black Labels, which is the other tire I threw on here, because I just ran the Black Labels on my last Injora hard body build and was pretty impressed with those. They made, I mean, look at that right there. They just walked up that pretty dang good. But then at times they would kind of spin a little bit where I thought they shouldn't be. I think I would like to chop about half of the lugs off of these and just put some separation in between some of the lugs so that we're getting a little more bite. You know, sometimes you can kind of run your finger over a tire and you can feel if it's got, you're just like, man, that's gonna hook. Like I can feel it gripping my finger, you know, like. And these are just kind of like almost running over a slick or something, because there's so many little pins that I just don't think they bite sometimes. But on pure rock, they're going to be pretty dang good. And my course, overall, they did really well. But I had just tested those Black Labels on the Injora hard body 4M build and was pretty impressed with those and how that truck ran. So then I ran these and I was like, well, I don't know if they're doing quite as well, especially on this particular climb right here. Because with the Black Labels on the 4M truck, I was able to slow crawl this. And you can see this truck, I'm getting a lot of bounce. See how much bounce I'm getting there in the front end? And you'll see the truck on the right with the Black Labels and a foam, basically a dual stage foam setup that I used with Crawler Innovation inners and the stock foams from the LGRP tires. And I wasn't getting all that bounce, so I thought maybe it was the inserts being stretched over these larger wheels. So I did end up switching the Black Label tires over to the Evo here, and I was still getting the same thing. Just, but the Black Labels wouldn't even start up that climb, and it was wet. I did test both of them right here when it was wet, because it rained in between shooting all of this. You know, I can take this stuff out of the package and tell you guys it's good, but I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to try to test it different ways and really figure something out here. And you can see with the Black Labels in the low gear, I could not make this climb at all with this setup. So it kind of changed my mind on what these pins in that setup was doing, because they actually made it up this pretty well with it being wet. So it's kind of like back and forth, you know, but it just goes to show you right here. I say it all the time. These tires, it really depends on the truck and the setup and everything that you're putting them on, because the Black Labels did awesome on that Injora hard body build. And then I put them on here and they wouldn't do anything. So just swapping them from one truck to the other just totally changed how they worked. And that's the thing. Like, I can tell you guys these inserts are awesome. I can tell you these pins are awesome. And then you may put them on a truck and they're terrible. I do like the fact that these inserts are so cheap, and I think they're going to overall do exactly what we want them to do. The bounce is obviously coming from this truck, I believe. By pulling the front bands, it seemed to help it some. It just give it a little more cushion. The shocks there, it was able to kind of absorb some of that bounce. So I don't know, but you can see the Black Labels there would not even start up that, at least on this truck in these conditions. Now here's the pins back on, but with the stock foams, and you'll notice there's not near as much bounce. And these actually pretty much slow crawl this. I would call it a slow crawl for it being wet conditions. A lot of tires don't want to slow crawl this at all. and they definitely are not going to do it when it's wet. So I think these tires are putting in some work right here with the stock foams, and being that they're on the 1.3 inch wheel, we're going to get a little less fold on the sidewall. So maybe we should just run these with the stock foams. I mean, you've seen it right there. Here they are with the inserts back in. You see the bounce? So really my thoughts on these in the 1.3s is, if you're not doing a lot of straight inclines like this, you'll probably be pretty happy with them. I loved the squish they had. They seemed to work really well everywhere else. It was just on this climb right here that I got a lot of bounce. When I went to just the foams in this tire, I didn't get as much bounce. But, with those foams, you're going to get fold on your sidewall, and overall, probably not going to perform as well. I do feel like with the 1.3 inch wheels, we get less fold out of the sidewalls, but you're still going to get some going downhill and turning and that sort of thing. So, it's personal preference and where you're running. For the most part, I think the inserts actually worked decent in here. I just don't know. I think maybe Injora will come at us with some 1.3 inserts, and that would be the way to go. So I'm going to say these are some really good tires. I was impressed that they made it up that in the wet condition. And I kind of totally flip-flopped my thoughts on these tires, because at first I was like, they're just doing okay. I think they're very similar to the very small pins, the smaller pins we've seen from Injora. I can't remember what size those were, but maybe like 62 or something. I don't know. But I think they're very similar to that, just in a larger size. So if you like those pins, you'll probably like these if you're wanting the larger size. For me, I'm not a fan of the 1.3 inch wheels. I think they look kind of dumb. They looked better on this truck than they did anything else really that I had. Unless you have like a comp style build and you don't care what it looks like. I'm not a big fan of the looks. And really, I don't like this big of a tire. I would rather just see a smaller tire. There you can see, I think the super soft in the rear would have helped me. But I hit this again and walked straight up it. So it's just all about the pass. You guys know how it is. Sometimes you'll hit something, you'll walk straight up it. You'll try it 20 more times and you can't even get up it. So tires are just tough. I say it all the time, but I like what Injora is doing. I think these tires are a good offering, and I think the inserts are going to be really good when I put them with a 1.0 tire like they're meant to be. Maybe if I would run this stuff the way it's meant to be ran, a 64 millimeter insert for a 64 millimeter tire, they would work better. So look for me doing more testing with these inserts. I'm going to compare them maybe to a couple other inserts. We'll try to find a tire that all of them work well in, and just run each line with nothing but swapping the insert and just see how they do. So I'm sorry I didn't accomplish a lot with this video, but I just wanted to try this, and I thought maybe somebody else would try it. And overall, I think it works pretty dang well. It's just on that straight incline, they didn't do so hot. The good thing about these inserts are they're $12. They're not $50. I'm not buying any more inserts at $50. I'm just not going to buy anymore. I'm going to find another way, or I'm just going to run foams. It's just, I don't run comps, and so it's not that important to me, to be 100% honest. So for me, this right here, when I can spend $12, I'm going that route every time. Whether it's the absolute best or maybe it's not quite as good, I'm fine with it. For the price difference, I can't pay 4 times as much for something that I'm definitely not getting 4 times as much performance out of. And people will argue that with me, but I think these are going to be really good. So I'm definitely going to get them in some different tires and do a lot more testing with them. So look forward to that. And just let me know what you think about this setup, these inserts, these tires, the 1.3s. Do you like them? Do you think they're too big? For me, I just prefer the 1.0 and a little smaller tire. I think for most things, it just works better. I think the super large tires, we just go that route when the truck's not really built right. And you just think that they're better because you're running a 10th scale on a friggin' 24 course, Sure, we can throw some 1.9 wheels on this thing and it'll walk over everything. But that's just not my style. So let me know what you think about it, and definitely look for more to come. I appreciate you guys, And I appreciate Injora, man. They are just really pushing the game, and they do better than anybody as far as listening to feedback and making things better. And I feel like they're just constantly pushing the game. Look at their ESC. The first one they sent me, I was not a fan at all. They immediately emailed me and was like, how can we make it better? And now look at what they've got. It's a great brushed ESC. So the fact that they listen to what people say and change it and just keep pushing the game is just amazing. So thanks to Injora for sending this stuff over for me to check it out and test it, and look for more to come on these inserts for sure. I appreciate you guys. Peace.